Martha Wells wrote four incredible novellas to kick off the Murderbot Diaries. Book five breaks the mold, showing us a full length novel. Join me today to learn if Wells' winning style has the depth needed to carry through a full size book. Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son talk about fantasy, science fiction, horror, and other nerdy things we enjoy. I'm Jim, the father of this show, still dealing with seasonal allergies. Those of you who are faithful subscribers to our channel know we usually have stuff coming out like every day, and there have been gaps recently, and you can still hear it in my voice. Man, I'm going to urgent care after this today, but I've got something I just have to bring out anyways, and here it's coming. If you enjoy this, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel if you're not one of the thousands who already subscribe. Thanks. So I'm here talking today about Network Effect by Martha Wells, the fifth core title in the series, but the first that's a full-length novel, though it's still not super long. It came out in May of 2020, and it's science fiction with leanings of cyberpunk. Now be aware, this is a spoiler-light review, but at the very end of the episode, I'll have a little bit of full spoil commentary. If you haven't read the book yet, you're safe here, but if you have read it, stick around to the very end so you can hear my thoughts on key full disclosure items. Now, why did I read this book? There's no stopping me at this point. I'm hooked on the Murderbot Diaries. I completed the first four novellas, which each have a unique story of their own, but all tie into one meta establishing experience for our protagonist, Murderbot. Then I started this book, but I set it aside about 20% in when I discovered there were short stories, and I already have an episode out talking about the three short stories that do come before Book 5, Network Effect. Once I was done with those, I wasted no time getting right back in and finishing this novel. There is so much good here. Now, those short stories, I did really realize as I finished Network Effect that they truly need to be read before you move into this novel. So if you hadn't heard about them and you're working your way through the Murderbot Diaries, definitely go find the three short stories. So I had those done, went on to continue reading this book. Man, it was great. There's plenty in it that I already enjoyed about the Murderbot Diaries, but there's some fantastic new tweaks and some wonderful callbacks to previous content. Overall, highly enjoyable and a satisfying read. The setting of the story is, well, it takes place a bit after the original novellas, with time enough for Murderbot to have settled into his new patterns and norms as a resident of the Preservation Alliance. Most of the action of the story will take place on and around an out-of-the-way planet that is completely new to the Murderbot Diaries, but that is integral to the story that unfurls here. Now here's my spoiler-light summary. Core to this story is that Murderbot is out on a mission with some of his found family, the humans that he's found a home with. He's been hired for pay to do what he does best, protect. And he wants to protect these people anyways. But, you got to make a living. Well, as they're returning from the mission they've been on and they're re-entering Preservation Alliance space, they're attacked and essentially kidnapped. Murderbot and others of his preservation peeps end up taken away somewhere totally remote and new, a lost colony with a mission to save themselves and then inevitably to save others, because that's what they do. Now, there's much more to this story that makes it interesting, fun, specifically well written, but I can't share those details with you in a spoiler-light format. Suffice it to say, we'll be given more evidence of the corruption of the corporate rim, this whole way society is set up. We'll dig deeper into the nuances of artificial intelligence, and we'll reintroduce a fan favorite character from previous books in a huge new way. And finally, we'll keep struggling with ethical challenges behind the meaning of life and the purpose of existence. this story actually gets pretty deep. And we do all that while remaining in an action packed, fun thrill ride. Plot depth. I already said it. This story has exceptional depth. In the novellas, Wells did a lot with very little content. Now, allowing herself a far healthier amount of pages, she maximizes her opportunities. One of the best things she does is going deeper into various plot hooks that she laid out in the earlier novellas. More about AI, more AI, additional corporate entities, lost and abandoned colonies. These are all things that have been referenced before, and now we get to do something with them, including also alien artifacts and their dangers. Pretty much everything used in this story was established previously, but it's maximized here. For characters, Martha Wells does character work really well. We know this by now. She creates beings that are fully fleshed out, realistic, flawed, but still very relatable. And she does it with very little direct focus. Each character has this unique personality, desires, motivations, and it comes through the actions of the story. And you find very quickly you care what's going to happen because of these entities. Again, I don't feel like I can tell you all my favorite characters due to heavy spoilers, but I'll share that aside from Murderbot, my second favorite character also involves AI. The one human I particularly value in this story, not exclusively, but ahead of the rest, is Amina Mensa, teenage daughter of Dr. Ida Mensa, who brings all the strengths and challenges of a confident yet fragile teenager. Something special is developing here with the young Mensa as well. It's fun to experience. As to writing style, Wells stays true to form, giving us lots of action with occasional time freezes, sort of, because Murderbot will, have inner monologue stuff going on, and Murderbot is quite capable of processing far faster than the world is moving around it. This plays really well into this action-packed, intense tale that can then pause for deeper moments without really distracting or breaking up the story. I love it. For themes and messages of the story, there are four that jump out to me here. Autonomy and identity would be one. We continue to explore what it means to have agency, to be your own person, with both the freedom and responsibilities that entails. Trust and relationships is another theme. The novel explores how trust is built, how it can be broken, and what it takes to reforge it. Baked into this is the significance of the relationships in our lives and how they add to what we become capable of. Then there's the ethics of artificial intelligence, as Murderbot has to decide whether or not to take down other beings that could have just as much autonomy as it does if given the chance. But since they haven't, does that still make them the bad guys because they're working for the bad guys with no choice? Tough. And finally, a consistent playthrough theme of this series, corporate greed, and the importance, here we get this highlighted here, of resisting exploitation by the powerful. This may have more meaning to people these days. Martha Wells would certainly be one to state that sitting back and doing nothing when others are suffering wrongs is inexcusable, making you complicit. We have a responsibility to speak up for those who can't defend themselves. I'm not making a political statement there, but as a human being, that resounds. Warnings for triggers, in this it's similar to the rest of the series. There's violence and death, there's torture and imprisonment, there's trauma, especially of the psychological kind, and its long-term ramifications are a part of this story. And then, of course, corporate exploitation and dehumanization. If you've been treated as a cog in the wheel and tossed aside, well, that's shown here, and you might not care for it. Then again, you might need this story. My rating, 5 stars. It's a must read. I recommend that, especially if you made it through the first 4 novellas, you gotta go on with this one. It's going to be an absolute winner for you. All right, that's where I'm going to stop you if you haven't read this yet. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to put your comments down below. But if you have read it already, stick around because now it's full spoil commentary.
The Spoiler Room.
Just a few last points to throw at you here. I couldn't be clearer earlier, but here I can get into it. The reintroduction of art into this story and the way it's done is magnificent. I'm thoroughly entertained by the love fest going on between these two artificial intelligence beings who really are manifesting all the signs of true friendship. But they're artificial intelligence. They don't know what to do with these feelings. Neither do we as humans sometimes. So it's a microcosm to be able to explore that in a deeper way. Wells is really able to pull out some deep commentary on life and relationships by what she shows going on between Murderbot and Art, and it's adorable. I also value on seeing Murderbot's continuing growth in this novel. There are choices it makes here that it simply would not have made during the first novella. It has progressed as a being, turning more and more into a real boy, a Pinocchio, whatever that's supposed to be. I enjoyed how this book was a clear break from the earlier novellas, a fresh new story, but one that still uses the foundation built by those four novellas and the three short stories. It really smacks that Martha Wells had this book in mind before she started that first novella. I don't know if that's true or not, but the way things tie together so well, even while being this whole new setting, whole new story, it's spectacular and it cannot all be coincidence. And the book also makes it clear if you missed those three short stories I referenced at the beginning, you are missing out. You need those to fully get this story. So go read them. All right, that's what I have. Thanks for sticking around for that little bit extra. I would love to hear your thoughts on my thoughts and just your thoughts on Network Effect as a whole. Put them down in the comment box. And look down in the show notes for other ways you can connect with Zach and I, including we have a Patreon page. Thank you to those of you who are already supporters of ours on Patreon. You can find us on patreon.com and join the crowd and help us keep this coming out to you on a regular basis and get a few extra perks. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.